Andrée Madeleine Blouin was born to a 14-year-old Congolese mother and a 41-year-old French father. When she was 3 years old, her father placed her in an orphanage for mixed-race girls where she suffered neglect and abuse. When she was 15, the nuns tried to pressure her into an arranged marriage, and eventually she escaped from the orphanage. She found her mother in Brazzaville and lived with her while working as a seamstress, and eventually, she met a Belgian aristocrat named Roger Seruiz. However, he insisted that their relationship be kept a secret, which was unacceptable to Andrée. She returned home to Brazzaville while pregnant, and later, she met and had a son with a local Frenchman named Charles Groitz. Their son got malaria but was refused treatment in local colonial hospitals because of his African ancestry, which led to the 2-year-old's death. Traumatized by the experience, Andrée decided that her daughter would not grow up in colonial Africa, and after legally marrying Groitz, she and her daughter relocated to France in 1946. Her experiences inspired her to become a political activist. Her son's death from malaria could have been prevented, however, because of his African ancestry and despite being 3/4 white, he was denied the proper medical treatment. Both she and her son were French citizens, but they were both treated unjustly because of their limited blackness. This devastating and racist experience led her to launch a campaign against the quinine law. This law prohibited individuals of African ancestry in French Equatorial Africa from receiving appropriate malaria medication. She traveled to Guinea to support the independence movement, which led to her being expelled from Guinea by French President Charles de Gaulle. She returned to Central Africa to support the struggle for independence from France. She organized and mobilized women for a movement whose goal was freeing Africa from colonial rule. She would later become chief of protocol in Congolese Prime Minister Patrice Lumumba's government, formed during the aftermath of independence from France. She was expelled from the Congo in 1960 just before Lumumba was executed by political rivals. She then settled in Paris and continued her work as an advocate for gender and social equality, as well as for economic justice in various African countries. During her life, her activism became known across the Western world. The Eisenhower administration and the Belgian authorities worried about her supposed communist links. The New York Times called her an advocate of extreme African nationalism. She described herself as a socialist who was committed to African nationalism. At the end of her life, she was diagnosed with lymphoma and depression. She died on April 9, 1986. But her legacy still lives on as a powerful profile in resistance.